That's the word, Clerk of
Barbara Stewart.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. First, I'll have to welcome all of my esteemed colleagues back for 2015 in New Zealand, and congratulations too, Mr Speaker, to you as well. In New Zealand First, we are really looking forward to this year where the people of New Zealand are going to be put first. We are in this circadian rhythm that Morris Williamson was talking about, raring to go, raring to go. However, when we were listening to the Prime Minister's statement, we were quite surprised to hear that there was not a mention of health. Where is the importance that is being given to health? The only mention that we heard was the free health care for the under 13s. Well, I'll have to inform the House that happens to have been a New Zealand First policy. Now, we know that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, and particularly in this House. Well, that happens to have been the New Zealand First policy that's going to be implemented. So we're going to welcome the government to look through our other policies to actually put those into practice as well. And the one that we are really hoping the government is going to pick up on, and we actually know they will, is the Super Gold card, 3 free visits for all Super Gold card holders. Well, that will really save the government some money. We will pick up illnesses at a very early stage, and before people go into hospital, it will have been cured by their GP. We know on this side of the House that many of the Super Gold card holders have great trouble going to the doctor, paying for the doctor, and this would be one way of getting them there. We get more complaints about people going to hospital in an ambulance, which, while they go to hospital, is a good thing, but when they are let go, told to go, at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, they can't get home. So this is a big issue when it comes to senior citizens. So that is a great initiative, and we look forward to that initiative being implemented this year too. I think it's rather odd that the Prime Minister didn't talk about the health of New Zealanders, so we'll be listening very carefully again when it comes to the budget, because on this side of the House we know it is important. We're very pleased to hear the Prime Minister talking about jobs and job creation. We know that's quite fantastic, but the reality is that there are a lot of people out there that are having great difficulties getting out of bed because of illness or disability to even find these jobs, and consequently they are living on the poverty line. While we have the Prime Minister wanting us to believe that the health of all New Zealanders is rosy, we know that it is really anything but. We need to focus in this area. We have many New Zealanders that have fronted up to the hospital to have their operations cancelled time and time again. They are waiting to get back on, well, they're on the waiting list, they go in and they're sent home again. That's not helping them one scrap. And we know it's happening. We're told of many instances of this. Why are so many Kiwis struggling with pain and discomfort? And we know the number of cancelled elective surgeries has reduced since 2008. Absolutely disgraceful. Not how it should be. We look at the loss of their earnings. We look at the mental fatigue, and it is something that needs addressing. And we on this side of the House, particularly in New Zealand First, are keen to see some action in this particular area. Now, another issue that Kiwis have is cancer, and we all wonder how on earth we can deal best with this terrible disease. The New Zealand Breast Cancer Foundation has called for an increase in the free mammograms for females until the age of 74. Presently, 69. We would like to see it increased to 74. We know that the risk of breast cancer increases quite markedly as people age, and we all want something done. Screening does save lives. Over in Australia, they have the screening until the age of 74, so why can't we have it here? But there is good news. We've been carefully following the bowel cancer screening program that's currently being carried out in Waitemata. It is very successful, and we had the Honourable Joe Goodhue saying, and I'll quote, "Results for the first 2 years of the program show that most of the cancers, when they are found at an early stage, can be cured." End quotes. So why is the government waiting until 2016 before even thinking about implementing a national screening program? How many more lives are going to be needlessly lost when it can be cured if it's caught at this early stage? The trial says unequivocally that it works, and we heard that at a financial review this week when we looked at the Waitemata District Health Board. Works in Australia, works up in Waitemata, works in the United Kingdom. Why can't it work in the rest of New Zealand? I believe it can. Instead, we're going to have to wait for more people to die before the government's actually going to take some sort of priority issue on this cancer. Another cancer that's really sort of a challenge is skin cancer and melanoma. Overseas, over in Australia, while the skin cancer rate may be higher, the survival rate is far higher from melanoma and skin cancer. We know that using sunbeds actually increases the risk of skin cancer by 41%. And fortunately, we have now got some legislation to have a look at, to put through the Health Select Committee to regulate this particular issue. Because we know that the voluntary guidelines are being dragged out, not really followed through by many of the skin cancer, by many of the tanning clinics, and no wish to do anything else. Why haven't we got the under 18s banned from actually using these facilities? This is not putting the lives of New Zealanders first. Now, another issue that we're increasingly concerned about is this one of obesity. Unfortunately, our New Zealanders are getting bigger and bigger, and their waistlines are expanding, and not the most healthy. Puts stress, pressure on the actual health system. And I've got some figures here. 176...
I regret that I do have to interrupt the member. She has 2 minutes to go. The debate is interrupted and is set down for resumption next sitting day. The House now stands adjourned until 2 p.m. on Tuesday the 17th of February 2015.